1408 Promise sewing machine. And a really nice feature on this particular model of machine is its capability to perform heavy-duty sewing as well as handle thickness changes. Basically, I've just got 8 layers of regular blue jean material here. This machine does have an extra high presser foot lift. As you see, the 8 layers is kind of difficult to fit underneath that foot, but if I can lift it a little extra, and it actually gives me nearly an inch of clearance underneath there, so I can just slide that totally underneath there. Heck, I can almost fit my entire finger underneath there. So it gives me a capability of being able to simply bring this 8 layers right where I want it. And I'm going to go ahead and sew on this 8 layers. You can just see it goes right through there. It's nice, whisper quiet. And we'll just go back the other way. Goes right through that without a problem. It's not really difficult for a machine to handle a steady thickness of material. What makes it difficult is whenever you go through thickness changes, like here. I have a standard flat felled seam like you'd see on the bottom of a pair of blue jeans. We have thickness changes here. It goes from 3 layers to 9 layers, back down to 3. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and start here at the 3 layers. It's going to go from the 3 layers. It's going to go right up and over the 9, back down to the 3. And you can see that they're nice, tight, even, consistent stitching, even through the 9 layers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double this over. So basically we're going to have quite a few thickness changes here. We're going to go from 3 layers, we're going to go up to 6 layers, we're going to go to 12 layers, back down to the 6, and we'll go ahead and start here at the 3 layers. We're going to start at the 3, it's going to go up to the 6, up to the 12, back down to the 3, and we still have our nice, tight, even, consistent stitching. Now I'm going to start at the 6 layers. I'm going to go from 6 layers up to the 12, back down to 6, back down to 3. As you can see, the machine goes right up and over that. I didn't assist it. And I'm also just using the standard size 14 needle that comes pre-installed on the machine. And we still have our nice, tight, even, consistent stitching, even through the 12 layers. Just another great feature of the Singer 1408 Promise sewing machine. This is the Singer 1408 Promise sewing machine. And this is a really great machine, especially for utility uses, just a good machine to have around the house. The real nice thing about this machine is that it's all one dial operation. We basically only have 3 dials on this machine. This dial is the tension. That's pretty much going to stay wherever it comes set out of the box, which is usually 4. And here you have lines between the 3, 4, and the 5. That basically tells you that you can play with the tension in that area to get the tension to your liking. But for the most part, you're just going to leave it on 4 all the time. And it's not like a yesteryear's machine where you basically had to keep fooling with the tension. It just basically stays set and it's fine there. The other knob we have is this lever here, which is simply reverse to lock in your stitch or sew backwards. You just press and hold that down. It is nice to have it down because a lot of machines have it where you press it towards that way, and whenever you press that way, the machine will knock off, as you see here, and it moves your machine around. I like the reverse levers that are pressed down because obviously you're pressing down, and as you can see, no matter how hard or quick I'm pressing that, the machine's staying put. And then we have our main knob here. This is going to be the knob that you're going to be using all the time. The coolest thing about this knob is that it controls all your length, width, everything of your stitch. You just basically turn to the stitch you want, machine's ready to sew. You don't have to adjust anything, adjust any lengths or widths. You just turn it right to the stitch, ready to sew. We want to do a scallop decorative stitch, which is here. We just put it on that stitch, ready to sew. If we want to do a zigzag, a really wide zigzag close together, kind of like a satin stitch, here we go. We just put it on that, ready to sew. If we want to do a long straight stitch, maybe for some basting or some top stitching, just put it on there, it's ready to go. It also has a 4-step built-in buttonhole. The nice thing about the 4-step buttonhole is that it sets everything for you. Again, there's no lengths or widths or anything like that to mess with. You just do your step 1, which is going to be your bottom. Your step 2, it's going to sew up the left-hand side. Step 3, it's going to do the top. Turn it to 4, it's going to do the right-hand side. Also, this machine does have a removable free arm. The free arm gives you a cylindrical surface to sew on. This is great for pants, legs, sleeves, and cuffs. So basically you can fit a cuff or a sleeve or a pants leg right on here without having to split the seam. So you have a nice cylindrical surface to sew on. The machine does have a built-in handle right in the top of the machine, and this is a pretty lightweight machine. It only weighs about 17 pounds, and it's pretty lightweight as far as its weight, but not lightweight in what it can do. Whenever you have your bobbin winder over here, there's no old-fashioned clutches you have to disengage or any other buttons. You just simply place your bobbin right there on the bobbin winder, press it over to the right, it disengages the needle. No clutches. When we're ready to sew, we just press it over to the right, and our needle's ready to go. You have 2 spool pins in the back of the machine, which is really nice if you ever want to do twin needle sewing. It's also nice to keep, you can have your thread that you're using now on here, and then you can have, you know, a constant color that you use all the time, a black, a white, a blue, something like that, and you can just have an extra place to store that extra spool of thread. Another nice feature on this machine is the super easy threading that it has. I'm going to go ahead and unthread this machine, and basically everything's numbered here for you. I'm just going to put this through this little guide right here. This takes all your knots and twists out of the thread. It tells you go down for number 2, around for number 3, number 4 goes around the take-up lever, and then we come down here. Number 5, there's a little clamp above the needle, and then number 6 is obviously threading our needle. Make sure whenever you do thread the upper portion of your machine that you do have the presser foot in the up position. That ensures proper threading, and that's just some great features of the Singer 1408 Promise sewing machine.